Housekeeping.
Who's there?
That's just housekeeping. We're doing housekeeping right now.
Who's the lady knocking on?
Okay, we're trying to do this as housekeeping.
Open the door. Hi.
Okay, you tell me what happened last week.
Housekeeping.
I hate you. Just get this done.
No, I'm kidding. Hey guys. Welcome back to the Oceans2 podcast. Just gonna do a little bit of housekeeping here. Last episode we had our teachers episode. It was probably one of our more popular episodes, which was really exciting. Goes to show probably we'll have more people on the podcast just to talk. It was just really nice to get different point of views, so we'll probably be doing more of that. Not much more to really do for housekeeping. Not a lot of questions, more just like agreements of the shit that we talked about last week, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, essentially, if you guys, want to shoot out questions to us or, reach out in any form.
If you want to come on the show, we'll see what we can do with that. Yeah,
even better. You could reach us by email. You could get us at oceans2@gmail.com. Instagram, oceans2, DOS. And then on YouTube as well, Oceans2 podcast. Look us up on there, and then on any of your podcast directories, Oceans2 podcast. But yeah, here we go, episode 7.
Let's do it. Don't look at me in the eyes when you do that.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, hey guys, how you guys doing today? Welcome to the Oceans2 podcast. It's been a while. How long has it been? Maybe a week?
It's just been a week.
Drop
the air horns. Yeah. Okay, no, we don't have sound effects.
We don't have the app.
We don't have the budget yet.
We're not allowed to use those sounds. We'll get flagged for that.
But coming back, the hostess with the mostest.
Jose.
You know that time. Jose squared. Jonesy and his sidekick, or vice versa.
Whichever one.
I'm Batman. You were Robin.
I'm okay with that.
Decent. Okay.
That means I die later, but it's alright.
But welcome to episode 7 of the Oceans2 podcast.
How you doing today?
Yeah, May 23rd.
You didn't let them answer. How you doing today?
Sorry, that's rude.
You doing good? That's good.
Sorry, that's so rude.
Again, you're not letting them talk and initiate conversation with us.
You know what? I'm just gonna be rude. I'm just gonna fuck it.
You piece of shit.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'll probably get blasted for it later.
Pretty fucking mean.
So this week, a lot of shit has happened, but
it's a lot of weird. I mean, that's not weird, but it's very, 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 very touchy as of late, with especially like the schools and.
And you know what? It's just like I mentioned to you earlier. It's just I think we've just become too jaded for this shit. I think we're like in our own bubbles over here.
I think that's a bad thing, though.
It is a very bad. It's a very bad thing.
Because
very bad thing. I'm just being aware of it.
Was it New York Times? I know people are already going fake news. Anyway, the New York Times reported that there's more school deaths than military deaths this year.
Which is some shit.
Or not this year. The past few years, I think. I got to look at the report again, but I know it was comparing military deaths to school deaths, which was, in my opinion, just appalling.
We're gonna have somebody in the comments or the email that says like, "What's your source?"
Yeah, what's your source? Please tell me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not a real one.
Well, I besides the statistic itself, it's just pretty crazy how much of it is in fact a statistic now. At this point.
And I don't like people that use what ifs. It's just, if you're using what if this happened different, what if this different, in my opinion, I think if you use your what if argument, it's not an argument because it already happened. It can't be redone.
Yeah, it's not a what if at that point. Yeah. It's like, what now?
Exactly. What now? What do you do now? And it just both sides of the aisles, it's a little weird. It's a little like people are saying, take away everything or fix something.
What's the argument at this point,
The Texas governor, I think, brought up video games again. You know how
they need to get over that shit.
And I know. Wait, some of the reasons were video games, abortion for some weird reason. Yes, abortion was one of the reasons for him.
To blame for school shooting?
Yes, blame the recent kid in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, it was video games, abortion, I believe not enough attention from his parents. That was one thing, and I'm like thinking to myself, okay, that one makes a little more sense.
That should be the focal point.
And I think that's a main thing because he was 17.
Yeah,
17, and he got a hold of firearms that he cannot legally have, and it's not funny, but it's interesting to me that these kids, except for the one in Florida, I think in Florida he actually had his own firearm, but the other ones they got illegally. They got them from their parents. They got them from.
Wait, is that illegal, or you just took them?
I mean, if he takes them and uses them for that, it's illegal because he can't have it. He can't be in possession.
When I hear that, though, it feels like he bought them on the street or somewhere.
No, he took them. He took them from his house without permission.
Okay.
And like, say, for instance, I have mine. I have my firearms and whatnot. But it's just I can't, since you don't have a void card. I can't leave you alone necessarily with them at the range with ammo in front of you.
God, why'd you let me borrow last week then?
Shut up.
Just kidding.
Shut up, DEA.
Yeah, but it's crazy with all the weirdness. I mean, let's just to sort of put it into perspective. In the last week, there's been, and I'm just going all over the place here. There's been the, something else that we touched on before. There's the eruption happening on the main island of Hawaii. Which
I didn't think was going to get that big.
Which is insane. We probably will get more on that later. And then there's this shooting. Then there's a royal wedding. Then there's. It seems like a weird week.
It's a weird span of days. It's like.
I mean, shit's happening all the time.
I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but it's just, and no, I get you. It's like, and I don't know where people's focal points should be at, and
I think that's why people just stick in their own bubbles. Like us. I think that goes back to my too jaded part.
Mm-hmm.
I think people just retreat back to the bubbles because it's like you're either just overstimulated by all what's going on, so you kind of just retreat, or it's just like. You become a unempathetic person, and it's just like, well, shit happens.
You think, in my opinion, like, I know I can get people fighting for other people's rights and whatnot across other state lines, but at some point, if you're gonna get into their state lines, into their state laws and everything, and their movements, like, say, for instance, there's
but we say this stuff like we're all a part of, like, last time I checked, United States of America.
I know.
Like, why are we talking about it like it's them, there? It's us. Mm-hmm. It's all of us. If it affects one of us, it affects all of us. Well, at least that's the idea.
That's the idea. And I mean, it's a little hard to get your head around that because the United States is so fucking big. It's 300 million people.
It's not even that it's big. It's just like we want to be a part of this bigger thing, but at the same time, it's like, no, we want to be our own thing.
Yeah.
It's like we want to be an unwilling participant, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which is stupid.
It is. I mean, but it's to me, it's just interesting when people are like, "Oh, I need to go march for this, go march for that." I'm like, "Okay, go march for that." It's like, but you're marching in Chicago for Chicago, but there's people that don't live in Chicago over there. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. And like, that's not a town you live in, but yet your town is having infrastructure problems. They're having crime problems.
It's one of those things like, why don't you help yourself before you try to...
Exactly.
Which, I mean, can go both ways, I guess.
But if you do, you look selfish and you look like an asshole that doesn't want to reach out or doesn't want to help other people, but you're too focused on your own self. But I think in all honesty, people should be focusing on their bubbles that they're living in now instead of others. And that's hard.
For a while, I remember talking... I don't remember... Well, whoever it was... on the subject of bubbles, it's weird how people will go outside their bubble and then retreat back to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then in the same time, they want to create this, like, a new bubble, if that makes sense.
I don't know. What do you mean, new bubble?
So, for example, let's take us, for example, us in our bubble, as far as, like, that too jaded feeling that I was talking about, all the weird stuff. Obviously, we have thoughts, and opinions and stuff on these things. And we'll talk about it. We're talking about it right now, like stuff that probably can be done, probably a way of thinking. But at the end of the day, we retreat back to this bubble that we have here. You know what I mean? Like, we'll talk about it, but are we really gonna
go out and
go outside of our bubble to try and do something about it?
Yeah, I can.
So is it just
I definitely
redundant
get
for you and me to be talking in our studio here about this?
that. Unless we do something outside and we do it
I
out.
mean,
That's
big picture.
That is, and it's also another thing is just like with it. I think the internet plays a huge. I mean, obviously, it's always a huge part of everything now.
Huge.
It's huge, but it's just I got to do the hand motions. Too. Huge. But it's. I don't know if the internet is. It's making me feel like it's more and more working against us, when it was sort of to connect in a way.
I'm waiting for it to become a self-sustaining kind of thing.
Well, I think it already has. I think it. No, I mean.
No, it still needs people. Like it needs.
Does it? What if it's acting stupid?
Well, here's the thing. If it becomes sentient, that's because of us. So it won't progress anywhere by itself. At least not at this point.
Yeah. Well, it's a whole AI situation.
Yeah. So that's that kind of.
Does AI creep you out?
No. Because artificial intelligence means it was created with somebody else's thought in mind.
So you don't think that AI could be?
I'm more scared of sentient intelligence, like
that AI.
That next level.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm saying
AI to me is like that base level.
So you're not scared.
I could move, forward, backward, up, down. Like that's very basic. That's like a very infant, like just baby thoughts essentially.
I like that one program that they I can't remember who made it. I think it was a university somewhere, Michigan maybe. They ran a program. It's an AI program that they gave it. It gave it a template like of a human body or like legs, and it let it just
bambied all over. It
bambied all over the place. But then it learned to run over obstacles, to jump over obstacles at certain moments, and like all they had to do was just show it getting up once, and then they left it alone. They left the AI alone.
Was it like that Japanese robot dog?
Yeah,
you see it
sort of.
Run? Oh, that's pretty dope.
But it was like sort of weird. I'm like, oh, that's sort of creepy. But I think myself, it's in a computer. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to be able to connect to something else to
like a mind.
Yeah, a mind to create something.
So
but it does give you that sense like we have such a broad understanding we have not a broad understanding, such a little understanding, and in my opinion, very little respect for it because we feel like we can just turn it off. And I feel like, and again, it's just that one moment where once it gets to a certain point and it goes to that place where you're scared of, it just takes that 1 second and it's faster than everything else in the world.
Dude, we're human. We're always going to take it too far.
We are.
Do you know the difference between animatronic and robotics? Is there a difference?
One's an animal. That's the only. I thought
I'm not gonna lie. Animatronics for a second, I thought was just sort of animated, exaggerated movements. Robotics, I thought was more like machinery, like in factories, like very like a well-oiled machine, like operating.
I think it's all in the same thing, wouldn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, because it's.
Well, then why have the two different?
It's made to do something. It's made to do a work. Made to do take care of a workload. Animatronics, it's made to entertain and to make those certain movements.
I may be wrong. I just a random thought I got in my head since you mentioned the whole.
No, it's the same
thing.
No, that's fine.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You're my friend, right?
Some days.
We're friends, right?
Yeah.
Best friends?
We'll think about that. No. Yeah.
Let's talk about that. real quick.
Oh my god.
Why? Why do you want to crush my feelings?
Why do you gotta step on them, spit on them?
No, I'm kidding. Damn. So yeah, in the midst of all these weird ass, just an odd week. It's not even the kind of thing where it's like, it's just an off week, like work wise or whatever. Like off week with like world news. That seems just so weird to say. And we, to be honest, we were trying to figure out maybe some kind of points to talk about today, but we just couldn't. It just felt like, it almost felt like I was too stimulated. Like I was overstimulated.
Yeah.
Like I haven't rested and processed any of the shit that's happened in the last, week or so.
Yeah. It's just, it's off, and like you said, it's overstimulated, and you can't put your finger on one thing, and it makes your mind just drift off into so many different parts and sectors and starts imagining different scenarios.
Yeah.
And that's what the government wants you to think.
Well, pause on that rabbit hole, Alice. Maybe that's why I've had that feeling of wanting to like just travel somewhere lately. Because I have Well, it's not a thing anymore. But I always had a feeling like when things feel like weird, or like I get I'm tired. I don't even know what the feeling is exactly. But at some points I have these feelings like maybe once a year, where I just feel like I have to like travel somewhere, and I don't know why. I've never really delved into it. My wonderful significant other thinks that I'm running away from problems, but maybe on some level that was true at some point, maybe like a while back. But now it's just like you kind of just want to break up, not the mundaneness of a routine, but you just want to you're able to do stuff. Now.
Well, where do you work again? I mean, you don't have to name the company. You just name. I mean, where in the vicinity of the area of?
I'm an analyst for essentially an armored truck company. So all the money any money and every money that goes in and out of a place, it goes through me.
I'm saying, where's the surrounding? Where is it at?
It's like an industrial.
Industrial?
Industrial.
There's a lot of people around there?
No.
No?
Essentially, I keep minimal contact with people.
Okay.
Mainly, though, I mean, I still have... I mean, my job is interacting with people because I'm, like, 3 people help me. Mm-hmm. So I have to, like, dictate some shit to people. But essentially, I'm inside the entire time.
I think that's why. Because you're inside, and, I mean, as a person that's... I mean... You just want to be outside. I mean, your body wants to be outside. Your body needs to absorb vitamin D from the sun. Your body needs to feel something, feel like it's traveling, feels like it's moving. Because if you're stuck in one spot for so long, and knowing you, the person that you are, if you're stuck for too long, it gets weird, and it feels weird.
You know what? It's not even that. I think
it is.
I mean, maybe on some minimal
wrong.
Level maybe it is some minimal level, but really, what it just comes down to is this. It's that idea of like, I can now, and why can't I do it now while I can? Because I know soon it's going to be like, I just can't. And it's going to suck. You have that feeling, but you just can't, you know?
Yeah.
So I think my thing is, I just want to do it because I have, not the feeling to do it because it's some gut reaction, but just like, you're able to. Because there's definitely going to be a point where you can't be like, man, it'd be nice if we just went to Vegas. Jonesy, let's go to Vegas.
Okay.
Like, you see, that easy, okay, and even with Hella, it's the same thing, just why not?
If you guys want to support our Patreon so we can go to Vegas, that'd be cool.
We will, on our Instagram page, we will put up decisions and you will decide the shit we do in Vegas.
We really gotta do more on that Instagram.
I keep forgetting we have one.
You're linked into it, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay.
Side note, follow us on Instagram. Oceans2. Yeah, we post shit eventually.
We will.
We've just been
we'll put more
on and off lately. We've been doing too much shit separately and not enough together. And when we do shit together, we kind of just enjoy the company.
All right, we gotta dole this out right now since we're on here. Fuck it. Yeah. So we can make it official. Do you want Twitter or Instagram?
Instagram.
You want Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay, you're in charge of Instagram. I'll be on Twitter. So if you guys
just because I feel you type more than I do.
Yeah, and
you'd get out more in 140 characters than I can at least.
Well, we'll see.
Me, I say more in a picture.
No, it's double, isn't it now?
Dude, Twitter's non-existent for me, so that's why I picked Instagram.
Oh yeah, okay, that's fine. You're better at Instagram anyway. But yeah, so if you guys follow, you'll be able to know who's behind it. Maybe it'll be switched up, but we'll see. So Twitter, Jonesy will take the handle, and you'll take the handle for Instagram.
Yeah.
So I'll be expecting live streams right now.
And
it's live.
Since we're sort of on not a hiatus, but sort of like a little bit of a break episode. This episode, sort of on ideas for more of the podcast. I know we talked about trying to bring on more people. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I wanted, I talked the idea with you of like possibly doing like a get to know your host kind of episodes.
Yeah.
So one of me, one of you, just general questioning. I know there's a lot of... I mean, obviously we've known each other for a long time, so there's a lot of stuff we know. But maybe there's stuff we come up with that puts us on the spot. Like, yo, Jonesy.
Yeah.
Why do you only masturbate once a week? No, I'm just kidding.
It keeps my mind focused.
I'm kidding. I don't even know if that's a thing.
It's a nice treat at the end of the week,
God, okay, I was kidding. You know what? That's my fault. I decided, that's my fault.
Yeah.
I asked for that.
I'm a fairly open book. There's some chapters where I'll keep closed, but...
You know what? I think this is going to be a very helpful thing for you and me, too. Because sometimes I think this could be our little, mini therapy sessions.
It is. Without having to pay $7,500.
You know what? It's not even that expensive anymore. It's more accessible, and it's actually pretty cheap. Not even gonna lie. There's shout out to Talkspace. Sponsors, please, because I read a lot about it.
Oh yeah, I've seen that too.
Talkspace and Get Help or Help something. They're two really good apps, and they're actually pretty decently priced. It gives you access to like therapists through messaging, pretty much.
I always like the word therapist.
Me too.
Therapist.
Say it slower.
Therapist.
Nice.
Therapist.
Now say pudding really slow.
No.
Pudding.
No, you put too much
emphasis in the pudding.
Yeah,
right.
Just pudding.
Correct.
Acetate.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, no, we don't want to reference any other podcasts unless they want to come on with us.
Which would be amazing.
Oh my god, I'd cry.
Bill Bear, shout out to you in November. But back to the ideas of sort of episodes that we want to do. We wanted to also, versus sort of waiting for people to try and say, like, yeah, come to the podcast. Because I know people can be squeamish, especially a lot of the people that probably listen to us.
And then,
So I was thinking maybe we go out and reach out.
Let's go find some people.
To find people. But I think, see, here's the downside with that. Some people will only do shit for one or two reasons. It would either be because of the notoriety or because, which means by notoriety, I mean like you have a following, you saying something, they gain something, right?
Yeah.
Or you know them and they're cool and they're friends and they'll just come on and just talk shoot the shit with us for an hour or so. And granted, we know plenty of people. I'm sure we wouldn't mind sparing and they'd probably be more than willing to do more than an hour just to shoot the shit about stuff. Which I think would be a really cool thing, but again, we wanted to hear feedback from all of that stuff too. I was going to ask you, so you're leaving me, right?
About 7 more pounds, and then I can pick my job and head on out.
That was my heartbreaking. 7 more pounds. What are you down to?
194.
God damn. You listening, ladies? He's thick.
Wait, what?
What? 7 pounds, huh?
Yeah, and then...
When did you start? Like, February? This sort of?
No, I started in December.
Shut down? Yeah, right?
Yeah, shutting down.
Was it New Year?
We'll make it New Year. I guess I make it my New Year's resolution that I...
So in the almost 6 months you've shed, what, like 40 pounds?
Yeah, around that. It was I started at like at 239.
God damn. And you know what? Looking, like I mentioned earlier, you and your clothes, you don't even fit in your clothes anymore.
Yeah, all my clothes...
The clothes are wearing you, essentially.
I feel like I'm back in 8th grade, where I have like baggy shit, which I don't want to remember now.
Thug life. It's okay,
Okay.
everybody sagged. Not me, because I'm not a fuckboy, but...
I mean, you sort of are.
Not... oh, God, no. Please don't. Please don't.
Sound like a turtle fucking.
Ew. Cochino. So you're leaving, and 7 more pounds, and you said what was the job that you wanted to do?
Possibly with ground ordnance, so it's involving possibly ammunition and explosions.
You want things that want to go boom?
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
Things that go boom.
Or security or military police.
Why don't you do military police? I feel like you'd see some shit.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna see some shit either way.
Not that you wouldn't.
I'd want to see. I mean, it's not. See, that's a weird thing because you don't want to sound. You sound like a douche when you're like, "Yeah, I want to be out in the action. I want to be out." I'm like, look, I sort of actually do want to be out there. I mean, it'd be fun. I mean, not fun, but it'd be fun. It'd be interesting, and it'd be something, stories and.
Why do you want that change, dude? not the change of the career that is that. Why do you want to see that? Is my question. Because all right. Cards on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Worst fear right now. Well, one of my worst fears. I lose Jonesy, whose innocence is very, very crucial to our friendship. Just hear me out.
Okay.
Say you see some shit. Right.
And I have that 1,000.
It's not even something like major. It wasn't like you were next to a bomb and you got shell shocked or anything. Like just some kind of event that just it grounds you so hard that it just like it takes away that.
I come back and have that 1,000-yard stare.
No. The 1,000-yard stare comes from like some serious trauma. At least personal opinion. I'm not sure I could vouch for that. Not a professional, but let's just say for the sake of the argument. Yeah. So, like I said, cards on the table. I think one of my fears would be you come back and that innocence that I connect with so well because we're both kids at heart. I'll be damned if I ever lose that, because not fuck growing up, but I mean, there's just, you lose a lot when you lose that.
Yeah.
It'll be like, where's my friend?
No, I don't think that'll happen.
See, but you can't say that.
I know, I can't say that.
Because you don't know.
So just have just the fear that's just there and just...
Fuck the fear. I want to conquer the fear.
Exactly.
I want to shoot the fear in the face.
So if it happens, then you just got to conquer it then. I think you're telling yourself that you're just going to conquer it then.
No, I want to.
You're going to hype yourself. You want me to hype you up?
No, listen. No, shut up.
Yeah, hype you, man.
I hate you. No, but think about that, though.
Yeah, I mean,
I always thought about, you know your friends for a long time, and you always ask, is like, fuck, I've known this person for X amount of time, right? And time is relative. Is relative. Honestly, you could become very close to somebody, obviously, in whatever amount of times, whether it be 10 years or, 10 months or, a month or whatever.
Yeah.
But like in our case, which is in fact been almost over a decade, one of the initial things that you first connect with was the, we were kids essentially, and we've grown up together. Essentially, been through many moving life events, as a part of each other's lives.
Yeah, very true.
so this is the stuff that just adds on to it. So it kind of takes that weight off of like, you know what, he's just not my friend just because he liked Yu-Gi-Oh, or he's just not my friend because he also liked to play video games and Pokemon and shit. So that kind of like helps with that. But it's like, Jonesy, dude, if I lose my friend, I will kill you. I don't give a fuck how much military training you have. I will. I'm going for that.
I highly doubt that. Even then, you can, like I said, you can try really hard, but anyway, you're not going to. Okay.
I will kill you with kindness. You didn't let me finish.
That's nice.
You didn't let me finish.
Oh, awesome. And when you meant to the head, you mean shaving my head for me, right?
Yeah, word.
Oh, that'd be nice.
That's where I get my power. I just grip it.
Oh, I cut myself like really bad the other week.
Stay on topic, damn it.
Anyway, I mean, no. Again, I can't speak for what will happen after, how my view of the world will change, and there's a very good chance that it will. But as far as the person that I am, and the person that I, am comfortable with, that who I am, it's not going to go anywhere.
Hindsight, honestly, I think if the roles were reversed, I probably would be doing the exact same thing. Maybe not military police, but like just that kind of a move, like that.
Like, oh shit, okay.
Like once I do this is like no turning back.
Yeah, it's sort of, that's how I'm looking at it too.
That no turning back move.
And I sort of like that feeling of like.
See, because you feel. Do you feel like you have nothing to lose at this point? Would that be a big factor to it?
Nice, that's lose.
No, but
like,
hindsight.
Is it a big factor? Yeah, I guess it's one.
Life choices, dude.
That's some shit. Because for those that don't know, it was a fairly, it was a fairly interesting 2017 for me.
Yeah.
And a very, it was a super highs and everything, and then suddenly just super low, and then
Word.
back high again, and then fucking shot back down again. And
dude, but that's just life.
I know it's life, but it made me think, it really made me you know what? It's something that I've been not putting off, but it was I sort of thought I could never really do. But yet here I am, nearly 40 pounds lighter, and ready to just go into it.
Talk about the weight loss or doing something?
Well, doing something.
Or both?
Yeah, it's both. Plus that whole thing of not being able to turn back, too. It's like you're just in it now. So, I went through the whole medical screening and everything, and I have my date shipped out.
Those fucking interview episodes, might as well do it now. Shit. No, I'm just kidding. Well, that's going to be still for another time. But, it's just, like I said, it's not very, we're in our own bubbles at the moment. Mm-hmm. So I figured we focus what's, affecting us, I guess, right now. Not that other stuff doesn't affect us and we're ignorant to it. It's just, we can talk about it at the moment, I guess.
Yeah. You can talk about it. You can have the mind, or you can talk into the mind that you're in right now. Talk later on, obviously.
And then once we've processed this shit, probably we'll have more shit to say about that.
Exactly. that's pretty much what it is.
Oh, dude. But yeah,
we're going off the top again, like you said.
Like I said, it's
don't.
So you're saying with that feeling of there's no turning back at this point. You know what? I won't lie. There's an appeal to it, but to me it would be probably more if it's like, well, shit. What else? What else is there? That seems more like a last resort to me. I mean, my mindset, it would be like it's my last resort.
Yeah, I guess.
Not what you're doing, but like
no, that makes sense.
If I want to do something, it's probably gonna be my last resort.
No,
do you think about it that way?
No.
No.
No, because I think about it as I think about it as I can't. Well, one, I can't. Like I said, can't turn back. But two, it's a path that is going to lead me into something better. I feel, and that's how I've looked at everything that I've done. Is that anything I do is going to lead me to something better, and it's going to lead me to be better than I was the day before. And that's what I try to do, at least on a daily basis. And some days you just can't, and some days you can. Like there's days where I was able to run 5 miles, and the next day I was only able to run 2 or 3 because for some weird reason like my knee was fucking up or something like that. And you sort of, and when you're a creator, your sort of view on life is to be better than you were the next day, and you have so much days of progress, then you have that one day where you fall back. You're just like, shit.
Dude, you're just primed for like self-destruction thinking that way, though. At least personally.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
Because
just go off the rail one day.
That's essentially what I think would happen one day, because you have to have that up and down.
That sounds interesting.
I mean, I think you have to have the up and down.
Oh yeah. I mean, of course you're gonna.
It's what. I mean, it's just like what you're doing right now. It's kind of what helps you make decisions. It's what decides shit. But I don't think it should. I mean, you know me. I've been up through the plenty of ups and downs too, and some pretty deep downs and some decent ups.
Definitely.
But I don't think I've ever made those like no turning back decisions.
Maybe you should.
Should I? Do it. I don't even know what that would be at this point because.
Do it.
Shut up. No, because right now it's just things are good. Honestly, if I'm making any issues up at this point, it's just stuff I'm making up.
Well, what decisions for you are the ones that you can't, that would be a no turning back decision? That you could say on air.
No turning back decisions.
Yeah. What would be one for you?
Well, you know what? I guess a pretty simple one would be like to. I mean, I have my own house now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would, but because situationally, parents live with me.
Mm-hmm. That's right. He owns his own house.
And that's just
What a man! What a man! What a man!
It's just
that song just popped in my head.
It's not even that it's my house. It's just situations and circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
I guess for me it would be. I mean, it's not like it would be the next I guess not the next chapter. Just I guess a thing you could say that I probably want to do next, and I should probably not be in any rush to do it because people will call me stupid. Would be to take that first step and just move out myself. Because there's no turning back from that, really. Yeah. At least in my situation. I mean, some people will probably be like, if shit gets rough, you could always probably. I mean, maybe some people have the fortune of being able to go back with someone. Parents. But for me, at least mentally, maybe even a little bit as a part of my own pride, it would be like that would be a decision. Like, all right, there's no going back.
Even though your parents would say, "No, you can come back," in your mind, you'd be like,
To me, I feel like I'd fail.
Yeah, that's
if that happens.
See, you're not losing your friend. I'm agreeing with you on that one because that's how I feel. Because I know my parents they'd be like, "Oh yeah, no, you can definitely come."
Your mother literally just told me, "I'm trying to fatten him." Is like, no, we're trying to get him out.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah, but I'm saying they even said that if you do fall on hard times and you can't live out there or whatever, you can always come back. And I'm just like, I don't want to do that. I mean, I know it's.
Do you think that's it? That's the root of our problem.
Us not wanting handouts.
That's not what I want.
Maybe.
Like big picture, that's just not what I want.
That's just the
big picture.
The theme of it all.
It just has to be how we want it,
and it can't be now how that's not how I. Oh, okay. Huh. Damn, we just break our podcast right now.
No, I mean
we just had a realization on it, and it's recorded forever.
I mean, I've had little notions of this kind of thought. Like, just it always comes down to why do I why do things upset me, or you think kind of the same way as me is like there's a lot of shit. I mean, generally just don't care. We have the attitude of I don't care, but I mean, reality we probably care a lot.
Oh yeah, and we care a lot like how you said before to me, remember? You told me that I'm a person that cares, but at the same time doesn't care.
I think it's just easier to not care. Well, not to not care. To not care completely, that takes some shit.
Yeah.
But to just give the just not the afterthought, I guess. But you know, that bigger picture thing of like, I think that's just what it comes down to. It. We want it our way. We don't want it that way. But I think we're hard pressed that maybe we're gonna have that.
Do you think we're gonna get copyright strict?
That life decision of doing that. It's just gonna pretty much be that bigger picture of one day it's gonna get to a point where we have no choice,
mm-hmm.
and it's just gonna be we can't have it our way.
Yeah.
And the sooner we accept that, maybe. What do you think would happen?
I'm going to leave you on that note for a bit. I got to go take a piss. So I'm just going to pause this and we'll get right back into it. So if you're going to have a little bit of a little change in audio, so don't be surprised, guys. Be right back.
Stress. Go. Back.
All right, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. We had
nature calls.
Yeah, I had to take a huge dump. No, I didn't.
What were we saying? Yeah, so...
See, yeah, but you can't have it your way, or that like, I like that whole thing now. It's just, we can't have it our own way, so we have to take
shit like this, like make changes or do shit like these no looking back stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Not bad.
So, did we just save thousands of dollars on therapy?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, and you know what? It's probably something we've always known. I mean, would you say that's on some level of kind of like a control freak?
No. Because control.
I think it is. You gotta admit it is. We don't like the way something goes our way, so we have to do it something else to do it, make it our way. I think that falls under some kind of control.
No, unless we're manipulating other people.
I mean, everybody manipulates.
No, I mean to manipulating to the point where it's, a sociopath sort of. That's when I feel like a control freak is. What a control freak is.
Oh no! I mean, just situationally. Like it needs.
No, then you're not a control
freak.
Like
your attitude, your mood, unless it's too.
No. Maybe that's just because I'm a control freak. That's just like
exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like no. I'm saying
it's not. It's not my way. I'm not a fucking control freak.
Shut up, Jonesy. It is that way. No, but it's you know what, and there's nothing wrong with wanting something your way. Mm-hmm. But I think at least in my head, the way I think about it is now is I gotta some shit you just gotta let ride. You gotta ride it out.
Yeah, of course.
Some shit you just can't do anything about it.
Like the fucking lava or volcano in Hawaii.
That's some shit. Can you imagine? Okay, so we looked up in case none of you guys know, for the eruption happening on the mainland of Hawaii. The volcano has become slightly active to just full blown active right now.
Now it's just oozing out constantly.
Yeah, so a lot of I believe the southeast.
Yeah.
Part of the island is where the volcano is active right now, and it's just spewing its guts.
Their emergency routes are all being cut off.
Which, for those who don't know, in Hawaii, it only really takes to get from coast to coast of the island, like maybe 2 hours?
2 hours, but
But because they don't have a main road, to cut through the whole thing, it's sort of just like all with like the land.
Yeah.
It takes like 2 hours to get from point A to point B.
And it's not that far at all.
Not at all. We looked it up. It's essentially the size of Rhode Island and Delaware, maybe a little bit bigger than both those two combined. Which is, it's still pretty big for an island. It's pretty big, but still, that's.
Well, you can drive across Rhode Island and Delaware in a matter of an hour and a half, maybe.
Not even that. Like it's nothing.
Have my uncle drive it and see how fast he does it. An hour.
Speed limit 60, 90.
90. That's what I see. No, he said 9. He's not 60.
But yeah, it's just it's back to the whole thing of it being like too jaded. Like you hear this, it's a volcano exploding. Like that on some level should be like, oh shit.
People be like, holy shit.
Like people okay? Like what's
but instead, happen? Then there's the whole part of me where it's like, it's not. I'm not near it.
You know what? And the fact that we could write shit off like that, man, are we terrible people?
We're terrible people, and terrible, but also lucky enough to not have that.
Don't get me wrong, fortunate.
But once that big one in Yellowstone blows, we're fucked.
Is that Mount Helena?
No.
No, that's
in
Montana,
Yellowstone.
isn't it?
Yellowstone National Park. That's
Didn't like Montana erupt like years ago?
Yeah,
and it caused like a
70s?
giant. And it caused like a it blacked out the sun and like.
Well, the one in New Zealand did that.
No, I'm talking about us, like near us, by us.
In the 80s, I think.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, fuck, it's just a bunch of dust and shit in the air.
Well, there you have it, folks. Volcanoes, two jadedness, deep thoughts, two friends discovering their, control freaks.
Saving thousands on car insurance and therapy.
15% or more on Geico.
Now we owe them money.
We're sponsored now.
Oh, that's it.
Get us that gecko money. No, I'm kidding. So another thing, I since we're on the subject of essentially you and me, wow. I just realized that.
What? You made a song?
The subject of you and me.
Title.
So, we are two guys who came up in video games, just like any other guy in the world, essentially. Mm-hmm. Well, not maybe in the world, but in the U.S. We have a fondness for video games. We sort of touched on the subject, Jonesy, about how video games for us used to be like just an adventure, like something you get lost in.
Yeah.
And like now we just do it to kill the time. It's like, shit, I got nothing to do today. Let me just play some shit.
What do you think a video game would have to do for you so you would have not that I gotta kill time, or it just becomes where I really want to enjoy this game, or like even if you beat it, you have to do it again.
What? On some level, I used to think, and this kind of turned me away from video games for a little while because I used to think it had a negative connotation of I want to get away from life. Like that almost similar to the feeling of like I want to go travel somewhere, but like it was a little bit more, I guess, darker. Where like I just don't want to be a part of this right now, so I would escape to it, and that was part of the appeal. Like being a kid.
Oh, sorry if you guys hear that. That's actually my dog. She's sleeping.
Your puppers are scared. Yeah, she went back to sleep. Sorry if I screamed in your ear.
She was sleeping, so she does her little.
But yeah, I mean,
freaking out like the fuck is that?
I think as a kid, it was that escape because you're a kid. You don't really have freedoms to do shit, right? Mm-hmm. So you escape to these worlds and these stories, and it was just so enticing. And nowadays, we're two grown-ass men who could literally do anything under the sun, really, if we wanted to. So we have shit to do. Not that we have shit to do, but we can do anything, essentially, now. Versus where back then we were very limited. And now it's just like, well, some stuff you just can't do, or you just don't feel like doing or putting in the energy to do, so you just play a video game to pass the time. Something mind-numbing, something just keeping your brain occupied.
Yeah.
And, I mean, what would it take for me to get back into it? Honestly, it would be willingly. It would just be I need to. It's like I need to express something. It would be sort of an expression. So, for example, if I play like
World of Warcraft.
If I play a video game like World of Warcraft, where you get lost in the story because, or essentially you could do anything. You're a person. You're in another world. It's an alternate you. I guess, in a fantasy world.
Yeah.
I want to get lost in that kind of story. I just want to do that.
Make gold.
Make money because it's so much fun making it in real life that I want to pass it on to video games, which I have done. But yeah, I think that would get me back into it. It's just I want to simulate something that I could that I could go through sort of in life, sort of as like a reference point. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because now I can't play a game like fucking like a Call of Duty game, like a war game, first person shooter where you're just shooting people. It's just like, it's so mind numbing. Honestly, I go into autopilot.
Yeah.
It's not exciting to me. It's just something to do. Versus if you play another game where it's like an open world, you have like, stuff you gotta collect, you gotta go like do missions and help, and this stuff, stuff is optional, but of course you want to do it because you're, a perfectionist and you want to do all your shit. Like that, it's stuff to do, something to do.
Yeah.
It's like there's a purpose to it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
What about you?
I don't know, I'm still playing video games.
But yeah, but we talked about it, and I brought it up as a subject too, because this is what you were doing. I'm like, what, do you feel like you're just playing games just to pass the time right now, because you just have, free time? Mm-hmm. Or do you still have that enjoyment of like, man, this is exciting?
It's exciting and relaxing at the same time, because then it gives me not only because I have so much free time, but it's also, again, like you said, you want to create something, you want to do something, and I mean, that's what I'm trying. I do, and right now, I mean, World of Warcraft is just an example because I still love the game, and it just makes me think like because I never actually had the like before it was a point where like okay, I'm just gonna play it just to play it, whatever. But now since I do have the time, I'm like, you know what, I want to try to be good at like actually good at it. Like not just half-assing it because that's what I sort of was doing.
So you want to improve on your skill?
Just improve on the skill, improve on everything. And it's always fun to look at. I mean, there's no lack of lore and story. I mean, lore is story, but no lack of story behind it.
Right.
There's a lot of reading, but it's a lot of interesting reading. I mean, it's like any of those crime books that people read, or or any good book that you want to pick up and you just can't stop reading. That's sort of how I see the game sometimes. Like I know FPS, games like Call of Duty, which I do play. That one is, in my opinion, a game that I play to waste time. Like if I have like an hour or something like that, I know I can't do some dungeons or whatever on World of Warcraft. I turn on the Xbox and play some Call of Duty. So then I can get 4 matches out at 15 minutes each. So I'm like, okay, I'll get those done.
Yeah.
But like I mean, in difference for Fallout, those it's just grinding, collecting, and still it's an FPS.
You're a fan of those, the grind.
Yeah.
Just putting in the time.
I love the torture.
Yeah.
Whatever.
What is it called? A Mescus? No. Sadist.
I don't know.
Who like the pain?
I don't care.
You're that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I don't want candle wax.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just, you know what? That actually goes back to. Man, we're going back a lot on the shit we're talking about right now, like into what we were talking about earlier. It's about the escape.
Yeah.
I think that what it just comes down to. What are we can obviously control how we feel about some things. We could control how we feel about a mass shooting happening in the school. We could control how we feel about the lives of people being affected by a volcano exploding literally just within a couple miles of where you live. And we have that weird feeling.
Yep. Oh, our dog's gonna go.
Of is it safety or just like we don't have to care? Because if we're being completely honest, I think it's just we don't have to care.
Yeah. I honestly.
And that's so sad.
It is a sad way to think about it, but I think it's the honest. It's the truth.
Okay, well, yes, it is honest because it is how you feel. You're right. But man, it's just.
How would that change? How do you change that? How do you think you change that? I don't know how.
I mean, well, think about it on the opposite. Say you flip the switch and you cared, right? It's like, God damn.
And I'm there?
Shooting. No, not that you're there. You're here, and you flip the switch of how you feel. So you're just like, I don't have to care.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that. Like, no, I mean, I don't... Yeah, I guess I don't care, but...
It's not that we don't care, it's that we don't have to.
Yeah. We don't have that, like, no, you have to feel sad. You have to, I'm like, no, I don't have to feel sad. I'm sorry, I don't have to feel...
And that's not caring, that's you don't have to feel.
And I bet people if they're listening to this, they're just like, so you're saying you don't care about kids dying? I'm like,
no, it has nothing to do with that. It's just like, it's almost removed from us. We're unaffected. Maybe because, we're selfish that way.
And you're going to have already people saying that, but what if you were there? And again, back to my whole thing and what I said, when you say what if in an argument, it doesn't work because it's already happened. You can't have any...
I'm more of the afterthought of, it's more of like, what now?
Yeah, it should just be what now instead of what if.
I think that's the mentality we should be of, what now?
Instead of going back into the past and going, oh yeah, no, what if
Maybe.
if I did this?
Maybe, I mean, I might be wrong.
I like it.
I'm open to it, but it's just I don't like the idea of being jaded to these kinds of things because it makes you feel like less of a human almost. Like, where's your humanity?
The robots got to you
at that point. God damn, we got too deep into that.
You're part of them now.
No,
assimilation.
I am not. Oh man, this is deep. But I guess one last thing I sort of wanted to sort of read off on was it's May 23rd, dude.
Wow, way to date the episode.
I dated it when we started.
Oh, you did?
May's essentially over.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck, I gotta buy a sticker.
Isn't that some shit?
Let me remind me of my fucking license
plate
stickers.
Time is such a... You know what? On time alone, we could probably do a whole episode. But,
yeah.
You know, I just wanted to leave off with... what do you guys think? I mean, you guys who are listening, if...
I was actually waiting for a response. Why is he not
why aren't they
fucking answering?
Yeah, guys, I'm very interested on the stuff that we've talked about today. It's sort of an outside looking in kind of opinion. Sometimes we get on our own head in our own conversations, you know, in our own bubbles, because that's the conversation. What do you guys think? You know, as usual, try to reach out on us on our social,
our Twitter, our Instagram, media, and all that.
And then once again, that's Oceans2 Podcast on YouTube. Oceans2 Podcast at gmail.com. For any emails, Instagram is Oceans2. And then on any podcast directory, the Oceans2 Podcast. I'm sorry, just Oceans2 Podcast.
Yeah, I mean, once you type in Oceans2, it pops up.
All right, so. It's the first one there. And yeah, let us know. We're really curious. We're probably going to have another person on pretty soon, but we kind of wanted to, you know, get back to sort of a flow between me and Jonesy here to try and figure shit out.
Yeah, and if you want to be that person, then you just hit us up and
fucking let us know, dude. It's literally just anybody just to come chill.
You have something going on in your life that you want to share?
Just like come on in. Talk about like for 45 minutes even just to shoot the shit. More than happy to do so.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Have a little escape hour, I guess you can call it.
Fuck yeah. But yeah, I think we'll leave out here. We'll see you guys next week again, depending on when this episode goes up, even though I dated it. We will see you again next week. Jonesy, you won't have anything else you want to sign off on?
No, just follow us back on our, you know, our social plugs on those. You should call them social plugs. I like that. Oh. On our social plugs, and you know, we just want to hear back from you guys. I mean, we already have some people responding back and letting us know how the show goes, telling us what they like and what they don't like, and I mean, any feedback is good feedback, no matter how much it hurts.
It all hurts.
It all hurts, but it's okay. Yeah, I think that's it. We can wrap this guy up.
Alrighty. Peace out, guys. Have a good weekend.
See you guys.